And there are three main types of solutions. There are three main types of solution that we are going to discuss here. And the three main types of solution are dilute solution, concentrated solution, and saturated solution. Now, what is a dilute solution? A dilute solution is a solution that contains less amount of solute as compared to the solvent. So here you prepare a solution, you take large amount of solvent and small amount of solute, then you have what we call dilute solution. It is called dilute solution because the liquid part is greater than the solute part. Now on our screen, we want to prepare salt solution. Here we have a glass of water and we only have 2 particles of salt to be dissolved in this water. So at the end of this solution, the saltiness of the solution will be very small because the salt particles are very small. Now, concentrated solution. Concentrated solution, as the name suggests, is a solution that contains relatively more solutes dissolved in a small amount of solvent. Now let's look at the illustration here. Here we are using the same amount as used in the dilute solution. And we can see that the quantity of salt particles to be used here is very great. There are a lot of salt particles to be dissolved in that same amount of water. And at the end of this solution, the saltiness of this solution will be greater. And we can call this solution concentrated solution. Now let's have the comparison. Look at the solutes under the dilute solution. Now look at the solutes for concentrated solution. You can see the difference. There is big difference between the 2 solutes. So at the end, the saltiness in dilute solution will be less as compared to that of the concentrated solution. The saltiness of the concentrated solution will be very high. So please take note, in concentrated solution, the solute is much more than the solvent involved in preparing the solution. Then let's look at the third type of solution, which is the saturated solution. Saturated solution. What is a saturated solution? Saturated solution is a solution that cannot dissolve any more solutes added to it at a room temperature. And take note, room temperature here refers to the temperature within which you prepare the solution. If the weather is cold, that is the room temperature for that time. If the temperature is warm, that is the room temperature for this time. So room temperature doesn't mean a temperature existing in a particular room, but it is referring to the temperature at which the solution is prepared. So we are saying that a saturated solution is the solution that cannot dissolve any more solutes added to it at a given temperature. So at the end of the solution, you see that there are some particles that we can see them moving in the liquid or moving in the solution. So in your home, let's look at how you can prepare a saturated solution using salt as a solute. So what are the steps? Step 1, Pour a glass of water into a glass jar. So we have our water on the screen. A glass of water in the glass jar. Step 2. Put a tablespoon of salt into the water. Then after that, what do? Step 3. Stir it for the salt to dissolve completely. Step 4. Add a tablespoon of salt again. And here you can stir it or you leave it to dissolve on its own. And you realize that it will take a longer time to dissolve as compared to the first tablespoon of salt you put in the solvent, that's the water. Then step 5, you add another tablespoon of salt to the water. So if the salt particles are not able to dissolve completely, and therefore you can see some of the particles in the solution, then we call such solution a saturated solution. Having taken you through the 3 main types of solutions and how to prepare saturated solution on your own, let's take a recap of today's lesson. Today, we studied that a solute is a substance that dissolves completely in a liquid or solvent to form solution. And a solvent is a substance that dissolves a solute to form a solution. So what is a solution? We also studied that a solution is the uniform or homogeneous mixture of a solute and a solvent. So whenever you put a solute and a solvent together and it dissolves completely, it gives us what we call a solution. We also studied that there are 3 main types of solutions. 3 main types of solutions. And the 3 main types of solution include 1. Dilute solution, where the solvent content is higher than that of the solutes. And we talk about concentrated solution. And we explain concentrated solution as a solution where the solute is relatively more than that of the solvent. And finally, we explain saturated solution as a solution which can no longer dissolve additional solutes added to it under the same temperature. Here ends today's lesson. But before you go, let's take some assessments. Question 1. In your own words, explain the following and give 2 examples each. A. Solvents. B. Solute. C. Solution. 2. What are soluble substances? What are soluble substances? Question 3. State the types of solution and explain any 2 of them. State the types of solution and explain any 2 of them. 4. Illustrate how you prepare saturated solution using sugar. Hope to meet you next week, same time. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
I promise to be faithful.